Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Nerd Chat here on Electro Ninja's Lab. I am here with my fellow host,
I'm Jack.
and we are going to be talking about Pokemon Legends ZA, specifically the DLC. Um, for the record, as to where we both are, I am currently shiny hunting in the post game, and Jack is about to face off against the last of the trainers for the story. Because you just beat Jacinth, right?
I did just beat Jacint, yes.
Okay. So I think you still have one more batch of megas, and then fighting Grisham, and Grisham is interesting, and then you just have the final battle to deal with, which is annoying. Um, you'll be fine. But yes, so the DLC is coming out in less than a week. In fact, about half a week because it comes out on Wednesday this week. So we thought we would just discuss some of our thoughts on the DLC. Um, so Jack, you have not really looked too much into the DLC, correct?
Not a whole lot, no.
Okay. Um, which is fine. You do obviously know about the three or the how many megas is it now? There's a few. The 6 megas that are coming that have been confirmed, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then obviously, we are going to be discussing later on the leaks, but we'll cover that in a bit. We'll make sure that you guys are aware of what when we're talking about the leaks. It's not that much. It's just what Pokemon are getting leaks or are getting Mega Evolutions, and it's not that big of a deal. But we will warn you before that actually happens. But yes, the Mega Dimensions. It so far they really haven't given us that much information, which is kind of interesting. Pretty much the main bit of information that we've been getting is like a few specific Pokemon, a little bit about Ansha, um, and that Karina is going to be in it and pretty heavily involved. From the sounds of it, Karina and Ansha are going to be the main characters that we're going to be dealing with throughout the DLC, alongside our friends. And aside from that, there might be more characters. I think it's worth noting that before the game actually came out, I don't think we really knew much about any of the characters. At least in terms of like uh, the main trainers. Like we didn't no nobody knew about Jacinth until the game came out. Until they played the game. Nobody. Kanari was pretty known about pretty quickly, but she wasn't like super involved. Nobody really knew about her. I think that they had shown us something about Terrangon, but not much. Um, Actually, I don't even think they did. So yeah, they didn't show us Terrangon and Canary. They didn't show us any of the, pretty much any of the trainers except for Kerbo. Um, and then, so I think that there is a decent chance that we will be seeing more characters in the DLC than we know about. And considering the fact that at least one of the new characters is an old character from X and Y, I think it's a reasonable assumption to assume that we will probably be seeing some characters from the original X and Y games. I'm not thinking too many though, but I could see a few. What do you think?
Well, we've already seen Lysander.
Well, Lysander, yes, Lysander is out. All that jazz. I don't think we're gonna see Lysander again. That's a bit spoilery, but he does leave at the end of the main story. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so he does leave. So we're probably not gonna see him again. Um, because yeah, they don't want to. They're not gonna have him be super involved with that. Because if you have Zygarde, then you have completed his story and he is gone. Um, and if you don't have Zygarde, then they can't add him into that story anyways, because some people will have already gotten Zygarde. And I'm pretty sure that the post game is completely meant, or the DLC I think is meant to be done after you have completed 15 Infinite ZA Royale battles. Because if they didn't, that feels a bit weird. If they designed it so that people can play it just once they enter the post game, that feels a bit weird. If they, I'm hoping that they've done it so that it's expected that you will have completed all of the story. And it might not even be accessible until you've completed the 15 battles. Maybe even 20. I'm not sure. I don't think that they're going to expect you to have completed side missions, but you should do them anyways because they're great. And yeah. Is there so yeah, we'll talk. Let's see. So we do know a little bit about the donut shop, or the Ansh's Donuts. So I talked a little bit about them in in one of my streams. So we don't really see too much in the video of exactly how the donuts work. From what I'm gathering, you need 4 berries, doesn't matter which ones they are. And obviously, we know that each one gives a certain level boost and a certain number of calories. And we also know that the better you make these things, you get a flavor score of up to 5 stars. You have like all of the different the different flavors: spicy, sour, fresh, bitter, and sweet. Which looks it looks really complex. I'm hoping that it's not going to be super complex, but we also know that they will have some flavor powers. So, do you think that that these donuts are going to function similarly to the
Sandwiches.
sandwiches? Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds like it.
yeah. Because yeah, it is very similar. Um, I think the thing is that we don't really know exactly how the flavor powers are going to work, but I'm hoping that there's like 2 things specifically. One thing that will like boost a certain type. I think that that's a reasonable assumption, but based on what we're seeing, it does appear that each wild zone is going to have a specific type anyways, so that might not necessarily be a thing. And maybe it's going to be something like multiplier of survey time, or multiplier of your level extra on top of that. And then hopefully there's a shiny chance. I'm hoping that that is going to increase shiny chance in some way, shape, or form. You probably need like the best berries in order to do that. But it is an interesting factor. I think there's also the possibility that there will be certain berries that will just instantly make your thing a 5-star, and those will be like the ones to deal with legendaries. Because so far we do know that Kyogre and Groudon are going to be a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. But do you think? I'm not certain about this, but do you think that that we'll have every single mythical and legendary somehow in this game? Because they have done that before with Hoopa's portals. Not necessarily all of them, but a lot of them.
I don't. I think it's possible.
Yeah. Because, like, according to the leaks, there are 3 legendaries, that are sorry, 4 legendaries that are getting Mega Evolutions, or mythicals. I think they're actually all mythicals. and one of them has already been revealed, that being Zeraora. So I imagine that they have to that probably each of those ones are going to be something like where with the Groudon and Kyogre, where the only way to get them is to do those donut things. But at the same time, what if they're not? What if they are just like a yeah, you can these things are just like through the story. I don't know. Because in ZA, in the main story of ZA, you can use every single Mega Evolution throughout your gameplay, except for whatchamadoodle, except for the starters. The starters you have to wait for because of the online battle system. But everything else,
Well,
you get them. You get them as soon as you've seen them. Or if they're an older one, you get them much earlier, or you can get them much earlier, depending on how much money you have and how much mega shards you have. So I feel like all of these new megas that we're seeing are probably going to be through the story, but there is also the chance that some of them are going to be ones that you're going to have to go out of your way to do, like the Primal Groudon and Kyogre. But I feel like doing new Pokemon that way just feels a bit odd. So, I don't know. Or not new Pokemon, but new Megas feels odd. Old Megas, I'm fine with that. I think that that's a fine thing to do. Old Megas, old Alphas, or old Primals, whatever. Because we do know, yeah. While Groudon and Kyogre are there, I think this... At some point, we're going to need to be able to get the starters. We're going to need to be able to get the, yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say. Also, another thing. They haven't really confirmed this. Do you think that the hyperspace portals are going to be permanent once they're there?
I hope so. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. I'm thinking that the portals themselves are going to be just always there. And then once you set them up. Maybe like some of the smaller ones are not going to be there. Because we know that based on the images in the news section, we can see that the hyperspace wormhole that they... the hyperspace wild zone that they show is a small hyperspace wild zone. And it has 3 Pokemon. Its estimated hyperspace level is 120. It has a star rating of 2, and so on and so forth. So maybe like the small ones, I could see those kind of being not permanent. But then like I feel like if they're going to be bigger ones, if there's going to be a medium and a large version, those they have to be permanent because that would be insane.
Yeah.
Another thing that is like coming to my mind is maybe each wild zone has a specific donut where you give it you use that and it unlocks it permanently so that you can just go in there whenever. Or the other possibility, because in the trailer, let me see if I can find the trailer again actually. Pokemon Legends CA. Where's the trailer? Is this the trailer? Yeah, this is the trailer I want. Okay, so we see that that there are missions in the wild zones and the battle zones. So I'm thinking maybe if you complete these, that will eliminate the survey time, and maybe it will lower the Pokemon's levels in there to being average levels. What do you think?
I would hope so.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot with it that it's just like kind of hard to say. But yeah. I don't know. The big problem is that we just do not know much about what they're going to be doing with the DLC. Um, we know that, and I think that it's important to realize that whatever is going to happen here, it's going to be stuff that we're going to have to work. We're going to have to do quite a bit for this, for how the story will work. So, I don't know. And I don't know how long the story is going to be. Because if we look at the DLC that they've done before, a lot of that DLC, some of it is actually bigger than the base game. To a certain degree. Especially like the Sword and Shield ones. Like, they have so much stuff in there, in their DLC. Like, if like in terms of story, it's done quickly. You're able to get it done within like an hour or two. But because there because of a lot of the extra stuff, there are all sorts of things that you can do that can take several days. Such as like side missions and looking for things, collectibles, which I think that there is a reasonable assumption that we can make that there will be special collectibles, there will be special Pokemon that will only be here. And yeah. Aside from that, I'm not really certain. But yeah. Do you think any of the other major trainers of the or major characters from the X and Y games are going to be in there?
I don't know. I kind of doubt it.
Okay. I feel like we have to at some point see Sycamore and Clement and Bonnie. I feel like because they're in the those four or those three, as well as also Alexa, by the way, all four of those guys, they are in Lumio City. So it feels odd to me that they are not there in the current game.
That's true.
Like, Looker not being there, whatever. He's same thing goes for Xerosic. They're probably off taking care of other things. And from the way that Emma is reacting, that probably is the case.
Yeah.
Like, Emma also has friends that she mentions in the whatchamadoodle, frickin' Diancie quest line. And part of me wonders if maybe those characters might show up at some point. So, I don't know. It's hard to say. But yeah,
You never know.
We never know. Also, I think that it's worth mentioning that I think that we're gonna be having an interesting time in the DLC. I'm not certain what we should be expecting, because yeah, they're doing something weird. They are I don't know, the DLC is just such an oddball this time that really is hard to say. I think the important thing to remember is how Hoopa has worked in the past. Because the way that Hoopa worked in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire was that they opened up portals to various different Pokemon and then we fought them.
Right.
Which is also very similar to the Ultra Space wormholes in Alola. So, I don't know. A part of me is thinking, like, maybe we're going to be seeing the Ultra Beasts. Maybe we're going to be seeing the several alpha or several legendaries and mythicals and all of that jazz, even if they're not necessarily ones that you can mega evolve. So I don't know, but I think now is probably a good time to talk about the new megas that we're getting. Um, so if you were not if you're not really interested in that, I would recommend leaving. Bye, people. Hopefully you enjoyed. So yeah. So you have the list. Just real quick, which of them are you most excited for? Of the ones that you can see in that picture.
Let me look at the picture again.
Okay.
Hmm. You know, I've always had a special place in my heart for Golurk.
Fair. Like I'm curious what they're going to do with him, because yeah, they Golem and Golurk are kind of special. Uh, I don't know. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with Scovillain if they are actually gonna do that. I think that like the ones that we have officially seen have looked really good. Baxcalibur having the sword going through its entire body. Zeraora just looks badass. It just looks like more of it. And I know some people are not too thrilled. They're like pointing at it and being like, it looks like freaking Luxray. And I'm like, so? Luxray rules. I don't know. Obviously the Raichus are looking cool. I know that some of them people are like not too fond of, and I think you weren't too fond of them, right? Of the Raichus.
Uh, no, not really.
Yeah. Um. So of the ones that, so what did you think of the ones that we've seen so far? Because we've seen obviously Raichu, the two Raichus. We've seen Chimecho. We've seen Lucario, Zeraora, and Baxcalibur.
Yeah, I think they're all right. They're not my favorite necessarily, but they're
Okay.
all right.
Okay. No mention of how freaking Lucario looks like Miku.
I mean, yeah, Mega Lucario looks like Hatsune Miku. That's true.
It's so freaking stupid, but I kind of love it. I've been seeing memes about it, and yeah, it's hilarious. I love it. And it's funny because the fact that my first shiny Lucario that I got was was a female Lucario, which is kind of rare. Um, it's a I think it's a 1 in 8 chance, and so I named it Miku, and it's going to be the one that I'm gonna Mega evolve into the freaking into the Miku Mega. It's gonna be hilarious. But yeah, so I like Chingling, sorry,
I know.
Chimecho looking like Chingling is just hilarious to me. I think that it's just gonna be so stupid. Um, I don't think I'm gonna use Mega Chimecho all that much. In fact, if I'm gonna use any of the megas that we've seen, it's probably gonna be one of the Raichus, possibly switching between them, and then Lucario, because I expect Zeraora to be pretty late game that we get him. Um, honestly, Lucario Z, I also expect that one to be pretty late in the game as well. So, yeah, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say with when we're gonna be getting them. I feel like the Raichus have to be pretty early though. Same thing goes for Chimecho. I feel like those three seem early to me. Lucario, I could see that being early, but I could also see it being pretty late because I imagine that Karina is probably going to use it. And it's probably going to be something that she's going to use like near the end of the game. Um, since Zero Aura is a mythical, I think that that's going to be a end game ish one. Um, but I do think that all of them will be able to be obtained before you finish the story. Because I don't see that being it seems way too weird for it to for the ones that got revealed to not be obtainable until after you completed the game. But yeah. Anyways, to the other ones that have been revealed. Firstly, Absol and Garchomp getting seconds Mega Evolutions. How do we feel about that?
Good, I think.
I mean, they are fan favorites. I like both of them in their current Mega forms. Um, but at the same time, like, I hope they look cool, whatever they're doing with them. Um, I've seen some images of what people think they're gonna look like, but it's likely just like fan designs based on the almost every if you see any artwork about what the the Mega Evolutions are gonna look like, most of them are fake. They are or just like somebody is messing. They're basically like, this is what I would like to see. I have seen some people like talk make and another issue is that some people are making AI art of what they expect these things to look like, which is not great. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to Staraptor. What exactly they're going to do with that is going to be really interesting. I also imagine, though, that Staraptor is going to be extremely common. And probably like one of the first shinies that people are going to have.
That's fair.
So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Heatran and Darkrai, they're already really cool. I'm hoping that they do something really good with them, with their megas. Obviously, we talked about Golurk. Meowstic, I wonder if they're going to have alternate forms based on whether or not they're male or female, because so far, every Mega Evolution where there is a gender difference, they have not. They've basically just combined them into one.
Yeah.
So, I think we should not expect them to do something special. Best case scenario, they're each the others. They're each the colors that they are, or the opposite colors if they're going to do any gender differences. Because yeah, they have not. I don't think any Mega has ever had a gender difference.
Yeah, no.
So yeah. Crabominable. I'm looking I'm hoping that it's just like a giant freaking Yeti. That's gonna be hilarious. Golisopod is gonna be interesting. I'm wondering though, when it comes to Golisopod and Wimpod, how they're going to handle them, because they have their ability that basically makes them run away at half health, but they don't have abilities in this game. So part of me is wondering if they are gonna run away when we get them in the actual game.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So yeah, we haven't so far we have no idea. I'm hoping that it's not gonna be something that they will be able to run away. The way they might code it is that maybe they might work like they'll just be standard. They will fight you, all that jazz. If you when you're first fighting them, and they'll stay still when once you defeat them. But if you get them below half health, they start running, and you better catch them, or else they will be gone. That's a possibility. I hope it's not gonna happen though, because That would suck. Especially if you can't do mean, because I don't think mean looks in the game yet, right?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously Magearna. I'm glad that we're finally gonna be able to get Magearna because I don't think I have one. In any of my games. I might have it at some point, but yeah, I want to get Magearna. I hope that they have both forms. And it's actually with Magearna as well as Tatsugiri, which is another one that we're going to be getting. I'm hoping that because they do have alternate forms that are not gender related, I hope that those will actually be like special megas with their alternate forms. Because yeah, Magearna has two forms. One that's like red and gold and all that jazz, and then the other one that's just plain white. So maybe it could just be a colorized thing. With like if you happen to get that the special Magearna, then it's colorized. When it mega evolves, either way, it's fine with me. With the Tatsugiri, I'm hoping that they do one of two things. One, the other two Tatsugiris will show up when you evolve your standard one, and like the center guy is the one that is super important. Or each one has their own form. One of the two options. So yeah. I do Zeraor we've already talked about. Scovillain is interesting. Do you think it's gonna get more heads?
That would be awesome.
I would love to see that. I am hoping that it is a Hydra frickin' pepper.
That would be amazing.
Like, I don't know how many heads they would do, but I'm like, part of me is like imagining 5 or 9, and that would just be so freaking cool. And like, especially if each one is a different pepper, that would be hilarious.
That'd be awesome.
Most likely they're not gonna do that. It might be like, if they are gonna have if they are gonna have multiple heads, they're probably just gonna be like, different colored heads, like, and they're just gonna all look the same, because that's how they work anyways. But yeah. And then obviously Glamora. I have no idea what to expect from Glamora. Because it's so new and I hardly use it. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I also have no idea what to expect.
So, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of funny because like the one trainer who uses Glamora in Scarlet and Violet uses it incorrectly.
He really does.
She really does. It's so insane. Why is it your last Pokemon when you need to like it's an entry hazard Pokemon. That's its whole point. It dies to give you entry hazards. So, yeah. Like she really just has like the worst organized team. Like it should start with freaking Glamora and end with King's Gambit.
Yes.
And yeah. Also, brief thing, I did actually find something that is that is saying that it has the all of the Pokemon that are going to be in the game. Should we go over that? It's from the same person who did the Mega Leaks. Okay. So, be aware that this is not necessarily accurate, but we wanted to talk about it. If it ends up being true, cool. If it ends up not being true, whatever. We move on. And who knows if this is actually the same thing goes with the other leak that we just discussed with the Megas. There's a good chance that this could still be wrong, but they haven't been wrong yet. So let's talk about the actual Pokemon that have been that have been shown. So firstly is the Jigglypuff line. So Igglybuff, Jigglypuff, and Wigglytuff. The Zubats Zubat, Golbat, and Crobat, obviously. Meowth, which I expect that's going to be all 3 Meowths. Maybe it would just be the one, sorry, just the 2. So far we only know that Galarian Meowth is confirmed, but I think that there's a decent possibility that we'll see all 3. Mankey, and I'm actually gonna check really quick. They do not show Whatchamadoodle. They don't show Annihilape in here.
Oh, interesting.
So it might just be that might just be something that they haven't revealed yet. And they also don't have the Alolan Meowth. Or oh no, that's Alolan Persian. Never mind. I was like, because I was seeing Berserker and I'm like, wait a minute. But yeah, so that's whatever. We do see Farfetch'd as well as Sirfetch'd, so that might be just normal Farfetch'd, or it might be Galarian Farfetch'd. We see Cubone, Mr. Mime, Porygon line. Moving ahead to Quillfish. Obviously the Hoenn starters, Gulpin and Swalot, Spoink, our favorite angsty boys, freaking Zigzagoon and or not Zigzagoon, Zangoose and freaking Seviper. Feebas and Milotic. What's the chameleon's name again?
Oh heck.
I know it starts with a K. I cannot remember it.
Okay, this is gonna bug me.
Fuck. Shit. Let me think here first. Bulbapedia. Maybe you have the answer. No. Let me look at Milotic, because that might lead me to the correct answer. Kecleon! That's what it is. Kecleon is in there.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Kecleon, obviously Chimecho, the Lotties, all the Weather Trio is in there. The Starly line, obviously Chingling, Mime Jr. Freaking Rotom is in there, which good. Like, it was weird that Rotom wasn't in the main game. Yeah. Obviously Heatran and Darkrai. Liepard, and yeah, I'm forgetting it's pre-evolution. I hardly use it, so that's why.
Skitty.
Huh?
Isn't it Skitty?
No, you're thinking of the other one. It's the Gen 5 cat.
Yeah.
I don't remember its name. I hardly ever use them. I just know Liepard. So yeah. No Skitty, actually. That's kind of sad. Muna and Misharna, Sock and Throw, frickin' Yamask and Cofagrigus. I don't see Runerigus, so it might just be the standard form. Amoonguss, Cryogonal, obviously Golem and Golurk, the Swords of Justice, Meloetta, Genesect, which, when was the last time we saw Genesect, actually? I can't remember the last time we saw it. Or, well, it might have been Scarlet and Violet as one of those, that long list of them. Genesect, there we go, Genesect. Let's see here. Main games. Oh! Oh, this is going to be the first time that it's going to be available since Alpha Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but that was in an event.
Interesting.
Yeah. So pretty much every apparently it was in Pokemon Home for like some event. Same thing goes for Sword and Shield. So this is going to be the first time that we're going to be able to catch it. Like actually catch it if it is catchable. So that would be interesting. I hope it's catchable. I hope it's not like an event thing. Obviously, Crabrawler and Crabominable, Wimpod and Golisopod, Sandygast and what's the sand? Why am I forgetting the Sandcastle name?
Palisand.
Pylosand and Sandygast. Thank you. Mimikyu, yay! We love Mimikyu. We love seeing Mimikyu. Obviously Magearna, Marshadow, Zeraora, the Meltan line, Meltan and Melmetal, which I think that's going to be the first time that they're going to be obtainable in anything but Pokemon Go.
I think that's right.
I think that's right. Like, I think I have one somewhere, but I think that this is the first time that it's going to be available. Besides Pokemon Go. Yeah. Yeah. Pokemon Go. That was it. So, and I guess there was an event in Pokemon Home, which, fine. And there was also like some event in China or something, it looks like. But yeah, so Meltan is through that. That's whatever. But this will be the first time that's actually catchable, it looks like. Unless it's like some event, again, which could be possible. I hope Marshadow is available. Marshadow is so cute. I wish that there was more of him. I think I have one in my Alola games. One of my Alola games. But, yeah. So that's going to be fun. Obviously, the Corviknight line. The Nickit Thicket. The electric guitar player. I'm forgetting what their name is.
Fuck.
I love these guys. They're so dumb, but I love them. Frick. Why am I forgetting their name? Grapple locked. Toxtricity and Toxel. That's who they are.
That's the one.
Yeah. So they're going to be in there. Grapploct and its pre-evolution are going to be in there. Clobopus. Berserker. Frickin' Surfetch'd. Mr. Rhyme. Oh, there's Runerigus. So there. Okay. So I guess that both versions of Yamask are going to be in there somehow, I guess. Indeedee, Morpeko, Weirdeer, and wait, what? The fuck? Why is Weirdeer but no Stantler?
That is weird.
And then Cleavor. I don't think this is accurate because yeah. Okay, so it does actually say incomplete in the thing, in the image that it has, but I don't see much else beyond that. Frick. Let's see if there's anything else that they... is this something that... Is this the full version? This is the full version. Okay. Uh, okay. Uh, yeah, they also didn't include like Baxcalibur and shit. So yeah, that would there's okay. I have a few more. So yes. So Alolan and Galarian versions. It looks like for everything. Um, if it has one. As well as Hisuian forms. Including Overquill. So we will get both fish. Uh, Obviously those guys. That's all already seen. Obviously the Rotoms. Uh, that. Yeah, there's Overquill. Wait a minute, I still didn't see frickin'. Oh, this one doesn't include that. Doesn't include Weird Ear. So, I don't know. I don't know what's accurate anymore. They do show like Tinkatink and all that in that line. Um, Greavard. In fact, quite a lot of. I'm not going to go over every single one of the all of the lines because like all of the ones from Paldea because I don't know most of them yet fully, but it's a lot of them. I'll say that. Um, it's a lot of Paldea ones. But yeah. So this list I'm seeing does not include Stantler or Weird Ear. So the truth is, I don't think that we can say for certainty what is going to be in the game, because even the leaks that have been sent out have changed and have all of these things. So while it's quite likely that this is possibly accurate, there's also a chance that this is inaccurate, even with all of these new guys. Because they did remove Weird Ear, which was in the first leak, but then the second leak appeared to not have it. So, yeah.
Interesting.
So, I don't know. We do know that some Pokemon are going to be in there. We do know Muna and Musharna, obviously. We do know that Golisopod and Wimpod. I don't remember all of the Pokemon that they revealed. We do know Marowak. In fact, I'm just going to skip through this a bit. The Garganical line. We know which ones else. There's just got to be some others. I think that's pretty much it. We do know the Zubats, because that was recently revealed. So yeah, we do know that there are going to be a good number of them. And honestly, I'm excited to see what they're going to add. And there's a good chance that there'll be more Pokemon than we expect. So
That makes sense.
yeah. So of those Pokemon, which one are you most excited for that I mentioned?
Let's see. I love Garganackle. I really do.
Yeah. Garganical is so fun. I love him. Especially using Salt Cure on enemies. I love that. It's such
True.
it's such
so
a good move. It's basically poison, but you can add poison to it, and it's awesome. Honestly, I would love to have a Garganical that knows both poison and Salt Cure, but I know that it doesn't. It cannot learn one of those moves. So
Yeah.
it mostly can. I think it mostly can learn trap moves. So yeah. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Honestly, I'm curious about the Salt Cure as well when we do get it, because of the way that trap moves work currently, and they included certain moves in the trap moves, despite the fact that they weren't trap moves in the first place. Like Fire Spin basically just traps the one Pokemon. Same thing goes for Whirlpool. Um, but in the current game, it's basically just a trap that does damage as long as the Pokemon is there. So I'm wondering if they're going to do a similar thing with Salt Cure, where it's basically going to be like a spot that is salt, and then if the enemy Pokemon is standing in it, then it will hurt them.
That would make sense.
It would make sense. I hope it's not the case. I hope that it's something that like sticks onto the Pokemon and it's like eating away at them, because I love Salt Cure. It's such a good move. If they nerf it, it's gonna suck.
That's true.
But yeah, looks like the Ceruledge and Armarouge are gonna be in the game, so that's fun. I'm ready. I'm ready for them. Honestly, I want to avoid using the Paldea Pokemon as much as possible. Primarily because we just played through Paldea. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I'm hoping though to use a lot of these other Pokemon because they look fun. Another thing that I'm kind of curious about: do you think that we will be able to shiny hunt any of the legendaries this time? With the
Probably
DLC?
not.
Probably not. You're probably right. My thinking though with it is if I wanted to briefly about the hyperspace. So if the hyperspace things are temporary, which is still a possibility, I'm hoping that that's not the case, but it's definitely a possibility. I hope that means that you'll be able to shiny hunt in there for like the mythicals and legendaries and all of that jazz, because they would be fun to have. They really would. As getting all of those guys as shiny, which unfortunately they are none of the guys that are in Paldea are shiny or can be shiny when it comes to the mythicals and legendaries. So I kind of doubt that's gonna happen, but who knows? We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah. Also, do you think we're gonna get mounts in the game?
Nope.
No, you don't think so? Even with the
Nope.
DLC, despite the fact that we've been begging for it.
Nope.
It sucks. I wish that they did do that. They did allow that though. It would be so much fun.
It'd be so good.
It would be so freaking fun to just let me just hop on my freaking Gyarados and go across the water. Yes, please. Thank you. I want to ride my Gyarados across the water. Yeah. Or better yet, once we get Kyogre, could you imagine riding on Kyogre or even Primal Kyogre? That would be so freaking fun to just mount on them.
That would be amazing.
And then just go into the water and just be like, yep, I'm doing this now.
That would be amazing, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah. I do. I also think that, like, even though I would love for the Lotties to also be mountable because they were in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, they're probably not going to do it.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I would, yeah. Seriously, though, I would love to be able to ride on my Pokemon. I know they're probably not going to do it, but... And they probably would have shown it if they were going to do it this time. Let me...
they'd be bragging about it.
They would. Like... Well, I guess... Maybe not, actually, if we think about it. Because with Scarlet and Violet, did they ever showcase that you were riding on Koraidon and Miraidon?
No.
So...
Well, yeah, actually.
Did they?
I think they did.
Let me see here. I know they showed them. They showed them pretty early, but I don't think that they ever showed that you were riding on them.
I honestly don't remember. That was like 3 years ago.
It was a while ago. But I think they were pretty simple and pretty quiet about things for a while there. Like they did, obviously they revealed the terrestrialization pretty early, but I don't remember if they showcased us ever riding on Koraidon Miraidon. If we look at, yeah, all of the images that they have on the website are that of just it battling, not the actual riding on it. So, like at this point, all of the characters on the website are all they're showing everyone at this point in time on there, which is fine because it's not like there's anything that could be revealed at this point. But yeah, I don't know. It feels odd to me because I do not recall them ever mentioning it that you were going to be riding on them, and I feel like it was like a big surprise to us when we got that information. No, they had to have because they have it in the picture, the big picture of the thumbnail. So I think we knew, but it was like really late that we found out about it. I think that was the case. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. And the thing is, like other megas that they've done in the past have, or other, not megas, other. They like to keep certain details close to their chest. Even like mounting, they did keep it. I think that they have kept those aspects quiet for a bit in the past. Like we didn't know even close to all the rideable Pokemon in Scarlet, or not Scarlet Violet, in the Alola games. We didn't know nearly all of them in freaking not Brilliant Diamond. In Let's Go, we didn't know that you were able to ride so many of them in that one. That was fun. That you were able to ride so many of your freaking Pokemon for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say, and it's been a while since we've played Scarlet and Violet, obviously, and I think the other factor I want to bring this up is we have seen how many we have seen 6 Mega Evolutions for the DLC, right? When it came to the main game, before the game came out, we had 7, I think. Yeah, we had 7. So I think that there's a decent possibility that we're going to be seeing more than what they have announced. Or more than what the leak says when it comes to Mega Evolution. Exactly which ones they are, I don't know. And the thing about, like, specifically talking about the leak, is that from what we understand with the leak, is that it was somebody who got into the game itself and basically looked through the details of what the game had, noticed that there were some weird inconsistencies with certain Pokemon, and that's how they found out about all this information. So I think like there's like some data for all of these specific Pokemon, and that's how they found out. So there is a good possibility that there's just a lot more Pokemon than we know. Because they just don't want to reveal too much, obviously. Even with the leaks, I feel like there's probably more Pokemon than we know. And
Probably.
especially with the fact that like they are going to be giving us from the leaks and the information that we've gotten so far, we are going to be getting some mythicals and some legendaries. So the likelihood of us getting a lot of them, I think it's reasonably high. Same thing goes with the starters. Personally, I would love to see all of the starters somehow be in the game. But at the same time, they just did that with Scarlet and Violet. So they might not. At most, I could see them maybe doing the... I do expect them to put in the Hoenn starters, but I don't necessarily expect them to put, like, Johto... well, the one remaining Johto Pokemon, the 2 Unova Pokemon, the... any of the Sinnoh starters. That seems odd to me for them to do that. And so on and so forth. But I don't know. It would be interesting, to say the least, what they all the things that they could do with it. And I think that there's a lot that they will be doing with this game, and I hope that it's going to be a lot. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, whatever they decide to do with certain details, when it comes to how our trainers are going to be reacting and stuff like that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, finish the game, please.
Yeah.
So that we can. Yeah, I would love to have us be playing that. It's going to be fun. And then yeah, so that is happening on Wednesday. Like I've said in my previous streams, I will be live streaming on Wednesday the entire DLC when it comes to the story. I will probably take a break at some point during that, but I am going to try to complete the entirety of the DLC on stream. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. It might be a 2-parter stream. We'll see. And then and then the next day is Game Awards, which that's gonna be fun. Not necessarily for the awards themselves, but rather for all of the trailers for new games coming out. I have no idea what they're gonna do. There's a lot that they're probably gonna do. I don't think that Pokemon's gonna be there, because that just feels weird. Honestly, I don't think most of the Nintendo games are gonna be there, but I do expect to see a lot of Square stuff. I do expect to see a lot of other game companies. I think there's gonna be some games that we're both gonna be really excited for at that. But yeah, anyways, hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's Nerd Chat. I've been Electro Ninja, he's been Jack, and we will see you guys next time. But on.